Hello there, this is Elliot Gemalto talking about Sentinel EMS Enterprise product, and this is an introduction for this product. So what is Sentinel EMS Enterprise product? This product, as a matter of fact, is the tool that I, as an ISV, will be using in order to manage all the licenses that I want to create for myself. Of course, we talked about the fact that these licenses will, at the end of the road, be provided and be used by my end users, as an ISV, as a software vendor. So my end user will be using these licenses, and I, as a software vendor, will be making sure, using these licenses, that every end user will be able to use my application according to the conditions that I set for him. So how do I create these licenses? How do I know which license has provided to which end user? How can I maybe make some updates for license? Suppose that my end user wants some further functionality and I need to provide him further license abilities. So how do I send to him these licenses? All this kind of management, I have the tool which is called Sentinel EMS Enterprise. As a product that is being, of course, proposed by Gemalto. Now, getting a little bit more technical details, Sentinel EMS Enterprise is a web server. What does it mean, a web server? This means, first of all, that it is a server which can be accessed by clients, by different clients. Why it is so? Why it was designed in that way? It was designed because Sentinel EMS as a management tool obviously needs to be accessed by different organization employees. Yes, for instance, suppose that product management want to decide something about which licenses should be used, and then order takers needs to take some order in order to create the license for some specific order of customer. And suppose that the administrator needs to make some changes inside to define who can use the EMS, etc., etc. So this is why it is a server. It's a web server because the communication with this application, with this management tool, can be done using the web. So it's more convenient. You don't need, we will see it in a few minutes, you don't need to install clients, tools, etc. It's once the EMS web server is installed, anyone who, of course, got permissions, got access rights to this Sentinel EMS will be able to use it quite easily via the web. And not only people and individuals inside the organization, but also other individuals outside the organization will be able to use the Sentinel EMS, but of course they will be restricted to be using Sentinel EMS only for specific selected tasks. Of course, we will see more about it. But as we said, Sentinel EMS is a web server that enables you as a software vendor, to control and manage the end user licenses. As we said, at the end of the road, the licenses will be in the end user machine next to the application, to the ISV application, in order to control the condition how to be working with this application in the end user machine. Another thing that is important to know is that the Sentinel EMS has its own database instance, of course, and this database will hold all the matters that relate to this Sentinel EMS, such which products you have, which licenses we have, which customer database we have, like details, contacts, phones, etc. And of course, the history, which license went to which customer, and all these kind of records, which are important for me as a software vendor to know. As we said, Sentinel EMS Enterprise is a web server, and since it is a web server, it means that it can be accessed from different clients, but the access is very easy. You don't have to install anything on the clients. You just use an internet browser in order to access Sentinel EMS server. There is a list of which internet browsers are allowed. We see that we have Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome. And these are the versions that are listed here. But what is good is that it can be accessed not only from inside the organization, but also outside of the organization. Of course, every access will have to need access rights according to the definition that Sentinel EMS administrator, the one who controls the Sentinel EMS, has provided. So no one will be able to use Sentinel EMS server unless he gets the access rights for it. Now, who are the users of the Sentinel EMS? Who is going to use it? So what is important to understand is that Sentinel EMS server has the ability to define roles. What is the roles, the different roles to use this EMS? And inside the roles, you can also provide users. What are the users that can use my Sentinel EMS? Suppose that we have ISV role 1 I've created, and therefore only users, and there is a list of, it's not written here in the diagram, but also there are users that can be used these roles. So every user has definition of what roles he can do, and therefore every user can do only limited tasks out of the Sentinel EMS server. Only the administrator, and I will show it on another diagram later on. But now what we see is that the EMS roles and user can define what is exactly can be done for each one of them. Only the administrator has the ability to do everything with the EMS server. All the other tasks, all the other roles and users are limited for specific tasks. The admin can do several things. Perhaps now you are not able to understand each one of the tasks here, each one of the functionalities that I'm talking about, but nevertheless, bear in mind that you can get back to this presentation, to this video later on to understand maybe better. But now bear in mind that admin can do everything he wants with the Sentinel EMS Enterprise, and users are restricted. For instance, there are specific roles. There might be a role that defines that you can only view something that relates to which licenses you have, and maybe you can create only licenses. There might be other users who can only do other tasks like features, products, etc. There might be some other who can only generate reports, or maybe generate reports and view license models. So there are a lot of combinations that can be done in order to the administrator of the Sentinel EMS to decide who can do what. Exactly, this is who can do what with my Sentinel EMS in order to allow him to be working on one hand with the EMS, but not do whatever he wants. So talking about Sentinel EMS Enterprise, let's look at it. Let's run it and see how it looks. So in order to run it, what you have to do is, as we said, to open Internet Explorer and run it with, here is an example, with HTTP localhost colon 8080. 8080 is the port which is by default used for Sentinel EMS, and therefore you do a login, and let me show it right away. Let me just jump from the presentation and show it how it works. So I can open Internet Explorer and do the HTTP, etc., localhost, and whatever is written there. But I can launch it as well from here, going to SafeNet Sentinel, and here we have launch Sentinel EMS. Of course, Sentinel EMS Enterprise is already installed on my machine right now, so I just launch it. Launching it means that it opens Internet Explorer and go to localhost 8080 EMS login HTML, as we said before. This first page that I have here is a page that I have as a software vendor to provide my user and password. Now every user of Sentinel EMS will need to provide his user and password. And this is the way how we control. We said that we have a control on over here, a control of users and roles, who can do what. So this is the way it is being done. Now suppose that I'm some user, then I have to provide here my user and password, and when I do it and I enter into Sentinel EMS, then I will be able to do only selected things according to the definitions of what is my role. But for now, let's enter as an administrator who can do everything. So the default to enter Sentinel EMS as administrator that can do everything is admin. Of course, after that, you have, as a system administrator for the Sentinel EMS, you have to change it. But for the default, it's admin, and I click on login, and then enter into Sentinel EMS. So this is Sentinel EMS, and here I have over here the menu that allows me to do everything. By default, you enter into the home page where you can see details about license expiration within 30 days and about other things like top 5 customers, etc. You can change this home page according to your needs. And then you can do, for instance, if you go to customers, you can create new customers. Here I create new customer, provide details. I can go to, as a system administrator, I can go to users. You said there are users and there are roles. Like here I create users. If I click on new, I get the option to provide details about what is this user, etc. Password that is going to use, all these kind of things. Whether the password is never expired or maybe it is expired after some time. And as we said, every user should have his own role. And here we have a list of roles. What can be done? For instance, customer management. Can you view, or maybe you can add, or maybe you can also delete. All these kind of functionalities you can decide as a system, as a Sentinel EMS system administrator, and you can make all these settings here. So to sum up, Sentinel EMS is a very convenient tool, a web server that can be used by different users according to their roles, and the aim of this Sentinel EMS Enterprise is eventually to manage the licenses that will be running on the end user machines. at the end of the road. But of course, as we said, there's a lot of more abilities to manage this license, like emails. You can create emails that will be sent automatically to remind your end users that the license is to be expired shortly, for instance, and reports that you can do, and decide about other things that you can provide to your customers, such as links to where they can download your application, and other offers, marketing offers that you can send to your end user, and more and more. But this is a short description or introduction to the Sentinel EMS Enterprise product. Thank you for watching.